Fire Radio. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Size Up by National Fire Radio, where what you do off the job matters. And so I have to start off with an apology, because I'm sorry, but last week there was no episode of The Size Up. For the first time in, I think it was like 63 episodes, maybe more than 63. I have no idea how many weeks I did this in a row, but there was a good run there. Like, I had a good run, but your boy Pip was down. Like, I was sicker than I have been in many years. Let's put it that way. When we all got that virus that everybody got that time. I was sick then, but even what I had last week and for the last week and a half was worse than that. This was like, I think it's the flu. Mrs. Pip thinks it was the flu. It was just bad. And I'm still not 100%. So I missed multiple days of work, as you can tell by my killer, dirty, hippie beard that I have. I stopped by my buddy's firehouse last night, Jimmy's firehouse, while Finn was at practice. And when he was introducing me to his crew and the folks that were working there, he had to reassure them that I was a fire captain in another fire department because of my shambled looks. But I go back to work tomorrow. I'm sorry for the miss. And even like Tracy and Finn were like, why don't you just do like one about being sick? And I'm like, because I don't have the energy right now to even try and get behind this camera and sit here. So, but I think it is a big thing too. And especially for me, you know, I'm a healthy fitness guy, right? Or things like that. Like, remember, if you're sick, don't go to work. Like, you can't do any job if you're sick, but you definitely can't do our job if you're sick. And then you risk getting the folks around you sick, right? And that's the last thing anyone wanted. You know, I try to look back at the COVID days and try to take positives out of them, let's say, because it's not so far in the past, but a lot of positives came out of that for my family, for me, for my job. And one of them was like, listen, man, if you come to work and you think you're sick, you could take a whole crew down. And in a small department like mine, one whole crew on one whole shift is not good to not have. Let's say good for overtime. Yeah, go team. But you don't want to do that. So there's my PSA for the day. I'm going to stop babbling because my guest has been waiting patiently due to technical difficulties, both on her part, my sickness that had to cancel our episode. I think some kind of BS with one of those kids of mine that canceled another episode. I'm going to blame the kids. And I think something in her life that canceled an episode. We've been trying to record this for what, like 5 months now?
Yeah, a little while, yeah.
It's almost like for as long as we've known each other, however many years that has been. We've been trying to record a podcast today. But my guest today is Katrina LaClair. Did I say her last name right? It's LaClair, right?
Yes, correct.
Usually I ask that in the build-up just to make sure I get it right. But I'm like, I think I know this one. But we've known each other, maybe we've known each other on the internet for sure. And we were both trying to figure out if we actually met. And it's funny because I pointed at a time where I think we might have actually met. And her answer back to me was,
you know how many people I have met.
which is normally my answer to people, right? And so look, do you feel, I do always feel bad when I have to tell someone that, kind of, when they clearly, a little more than what you and I were going through, where I'm like, I think we met at Wadapalooza, where I did meet a lot of people and I couldn't even tell you what year that was. But
right.
Like, people will come up to me and just start talking and like, I'm like, I'm really sorry, but I'm drawing a blank here. Like, do you get that a lot in life?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that's kind of normal though, you know, like I'm pretty good at forgetting somebody's name like right after they tell me to. So.
Oh, I'm 100%. Like, your name is written under your picture right now. That's helping me remember. I have it written in front of me. I have it written there. Like, listen, I pull back the whole like veil of podcasting. Like what people hide in their podcast and don't talk about. Like, your name is written there. Where you work is written there, and I'll probably still mess it up. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I forget people's names right after I meet them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all right. I think that's normal. Well, I mean,
so.
what's normal, but it happens to me all the time. So
good. Well, at least we're on the page with that. I would think too, and just, you know, in what you do in CrossFit, being a CrossFit athlete, like, you meet people while competing, and like, listen, someone just watched you compete and they're so excited to meet you, and you are 100 and 50% drained, you probably don't even remember the conversation you had with them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like that, blackout status sometimes you have after a
Yeah.
workout. Yeah. You
Right.
have
And then
like,
someone's just like wanting to talk and talk. And you're like, yeah,
yeah.
sure. I'm going to talk to you and like, come see
Yeah.
me. Cause I can remember working Wadapalooza a couple years and like, getting to know a lot of athletes and then them not knowing me 5 minutes after we did that, after they were competing, because they were just so drained.
Oh, yeah. It's nothing personal, right? His
So
workout.
it's total workout burnout, and it's cool. So please don't turn off the podcast if you're not a fitness follower of mine, right? You all know that I'm a fitness dude, and I've made my bones in the fitness, whatever you want to call it, industry of the fire service to get here. It has been several episodes since I legit talked fitness with someone, and I do think that'll probably be the majority of our episode today will be fitness. I mean, you do way more than fitness, and we'll talk about that as well. But like, it's exciting to talk to you finally about like your fitness journey, the fact that you just competed at the CrossFit Games on the masters level, and just that kind of excitement. But to give everybody a little bit about you, like your background into sports and growing up in, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of the state called Connecticut. Maybe you've heard of it. Maybe you've probably driven through it. It's totally a drive-through state.
Yeah, it's like
Like
as big as your toe, right?
legitimately, like, yeah, like literally, like when you have to get somewhere, like if you live on the East Coast and you have to get to the northern more east than I am, you have to
Yeah.
drive through Connecticut.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
rarely do you stop.
don't knock Connecticut. It's a beautiful state. There's just
It,
not a lot to do. That's all.
there's just nothing there.
Hey, we
Well,
got casinos,
everybody's got casinos now. Listen, you're talking to the original casino, for essentially the original casino state, one of them. Like, and we got casinos. Wow, you've had them forever. No big deal there. What's you have Mystic Pizza, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, we are actually the pizza capital of the United States now. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to get into this fight with you, but like we can have this fight. So you also too have more Italian Americans per capita than New York or New Jersey, like in that pizza capital end. I think what happened was when my people came and they got off the boat, it was like mega right or mega left, and
Yeah.
some of them made a left, and they stayed in New Jersey because Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty are in New Jersey. Like, don't
Right.
fight me on that. We all know it's true. Um, a lot of us stayed here, right move. Other people made a right. Some people were like, we're going to cross Edessa Bridge, and they stayed in New York, and other ones wanted to drive a little bit further.
Yeah.
And they ended up in Connecticut. Hence the like, if I got to eat pizza that's not in New Jersey, it would be New Jersey, New York, and then Connecticut. Mm-hmm. And everything else is trash. Like, for sure.
Come on.
For real, you eat pizza in other places than like if you were in Idaho, you'd eat. Sorry to my last guest from 2 weeks ago.
I definitely am a pizza snob, I guess. So
yeah, that's it. I'm 100%.
I'll try it, but I'm going to judge it. You know what I mean? And deep dish, I won't even try deep dish. So.
Deep dish isn't pizza. It's like a pie.
It's like a pie.
It's totally like we call pizza pie in Central Jersey where I am. Like, it's always been pie in my family, but that is legitimately deep dishes. It's not even different scale, totally different rating scale. Like,
it's like a round casserole. I don't know.
A round casserole with some meat thrown on the top of it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny though, like when so again, like you travel for competitions and things, like, and people are like, oh, let's get some pizza, and I'm like, I do not want your pizza, man. Like, do you know what the pizza is like near us? But I did know that little bit about Connecticut. I will fight you on the fact that New Jersey pizza is better, but people can have their opinions. We can leave it at that.
Right. Yeah. Agree to disagree. Right.
Yeah. As long as you're not eating it and you're not going to Vermont for their pizza, or like, oh, I was in Colorado and they're like, we dip the crust in honey, and I'm like, okay, like honey and bread is good, but I still don't want your pizza because you dip your crust. The best part can't be the crust dipped in honey, dude. This is a huge argument when I was out there working a lot, where I'm like, yo, there's a whole pie part of it, the triangle. You don't want to talk to me about that. You want to talk about getting to the crust and then dipping it in honey. I'm like, no, that's not pizza.
No, not at all.
Okay, so you're from Connecticut, born and raised?
Yeah, actually. I mean, I moved away a bunch, but I ended up back here, so it's home.
So amazing. It's so great. It's so amazing that you were like, I have to go back. The sprawling beaches that we have here, the miles of beaches, like mile or two of beach.
Mile or two, right.
But like growing up, were you an athlete? Did you do all the kind of athletic-y things?
I was a competitive dancer actually
Oh,
growing
I
up.
saw that. Thanks for
Yeah.
reminding me. You just post it, it almost when I saw you post that picture yesterday, I was like, this is like fortuitous, I guess would be the word, that like we didn't have a podcast the other 18 times because
Right.
you threw like a throwback. I don't even know who you are in that picture. I legit blew
Yeah.
it up and was like, I think that's her right there. But you did like a throwback young picture to dancing. So cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk about dancing. All the firefighters love to hear dance talk.
All right.
No, but a lot of them probably have kids in dance and they're stuck with
Yeah.
it on Saturdays and Sundays, unfortunately. So they
Oh,
know
oh
all
yeah.
about that life. Was that you?
Stuck with it is definitely the right phrase to say.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I mean, I started, my mom just threw me into class when I was 3 years old and I just happened to love it. And so it just stuck. And then I started competing. I think I was 8 years old and I did that all the way up until senior year of high school.
did you do like, so mom threw you into like tap and ballet where like, like the Shirley Temple dance when you're going
Yeah.
down, but then did you stick with tap and ballet or did you go into, I know there's hip hop and like all kinds of different, again, I don't have dance kids, but there are
Right.
performers. So I know about this life a little bit.
Yeah, so you obviously start like ballet tap. They call it kinder dance, where the studio that I trained at, and then I got more into like jazz and what they call lyrical or contemporary. And then I tumbled. I did acrobatics too, because the studio I went to, it's the Dance Slipper. It's in Massachusetts, like right over the border. The instructor was really into tumbling, so we were a big acrobatic dance school. So I did a
Which is like the
lot.
thing now, right? Where like it's like when you have like they have like let's just say like cheerleaders and then the dance team. Like I know when I worked at Rutgers, there was like the cheerleaders and then the dance team would come out, but they would also be tumbling. Like they could almost be intertwined. Let's say a different. Please, no one get mad at me. I know cheerleading and dance is different, and I know I got it, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of cross pollination there, right? Easy way to
Oh
put
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's just, it's like another class for you to take. It's just another skill for you to have when you're
And
in the dance
that
world.
and that type of tumbling too leads into gymnastics and then gets into this world that we were both involved in or you're still involved in of like CrossFit and different fitness type movements that probably I'm not going to ask you your age because I'm better. I know better than to do that. But probably at that time you didn't know you were doing fitness. You know what I mean? Type of a thing. Like they weren't fitness moves yet, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, but it was just dance. I didn't even think of fit. The first time I even stepped foot into a gym, I was 22 years old. So, I just did my thing and I loved it. And I'm a competitive person. So, it kind of checked that box for me. And I just loved it, getting up on stage and doing my thing.
Did you go to college for dance or did you not go to
No,
college or totally
I
random question?
after high school, I just auditioned and got jobs. Like I worked at Six Flags, Busch Gardens. I danced with a couple dance companies. I worked for Norwegian Cruise Line. I danced with a company out in LA when I lived in California. I danced backup for a Cher impersonator. I mean, was a magician's assistant. I mean, it's like, I'm like a carny, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like folks, so a guy that I work with just yesterday, we were in a class and he asked me, he's like, so your podcast, he's like, it's scripted, right? Like, everything you're going to talk about. And I'm like, nah, B, we just go off the cuff. Like, it's just learning about people and seeing where, peeling back the layers, or the layers of the onion, right?
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, hand up in the air. We did not talk about that, like this
No.
carny lifestyle. And I'm so excited that you're into it now, right? Because again, my boys are both into performing. And one of the jobs that you can get is like on a cruise line. Like, how
Yeah.
cool is that? Like, where did you go? What did you do? Or how shitty is it? Which one do you want to
No,
go with?
no, it was definitely awesome. Most of my itineraries were in the Caribbean, so I've left out of Boston, New York, Cape Canaveral in Florida, Louisiana. Um, I've been to almost all of the islands. We did like Mexico and South America. We did a little fall tour in like September, October one year. We left out of Boston, went to like Martha's Vineyard and Nova Scotia, Bar Harbor, Maine. It was,
I've seen that cruise.
yeah, and
I'm not got on it, but I've seen it.
yeah, I got paid to do it, and travel and meet people from like over 60 different countries, and I got to perform. I got to do what I love to do.
And you got to live in the bowels of a cruise ship, which
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sure is not like, it's not
Yeah, like
when you pay to go on the cruise and your room is very small and
yeah.
not nice or the best room ever. I'm sure yours were way less than
Oh,
that.
you're like on deck zero, you know what I mean?
I have heard though that like the crew parties get pretty like rambunctious, let's just say. Like when
Yeah, they could get a little wild for sure, but they were fun, you know. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, it's again, and with my older son Finn, he really wants to perform, like Broadway type performing, and so
hmm
he has some mentors now and some folks that are in the industry that help him, and all of them have done a stint on some cruise ship in some play, some way, shape, or form. And I'm like, dude, that is like you get to see places, you get to kind of vacation a little bit, but you're doing what you love, and that's what matters.
yeah, and you get the experience too.
Yeah,
So,
that is life experience too. That's invaluable because, like you said, 60 different countries. So I've been on several cruises, and everybody on the cruise ship is from somewhere different. You might
yeah.
have two people from the same place, and very few people are from our country, is what I've
Oh,
always
there's
found.
it's going to be like the performers and that's about it.
Yeah,
You know, like there's barely like nobody else from the United States. You'll see a lot of Filipinos. And I mean, it's just everybody. They're from everywhere, you know.
yeah. And how
But,
cool is that? That like you get. I mean, it's the same as kind of like being a firefighter. Like we are kind of all from everywhere, but we're
yeah,
not like from everywhere. Like when you're
yeah.
on a cruise ship for that time and being young, what a great experience. And
Oh
where it
yeah,
can lead you to go next.
yeah. No responsibility, no bills.
Yeah,
It was
right.
great.
And occasionally you get a check, and like then you get to spend it because you got nothing
Yeah,
to go. Like
yeah, yeah.
that always makes for good. Yeah, I could. Maybe I should have done that when I was younger. Like I missed my calling. I should have been a dancer on a
Hey,
cruise ship.
it's never too late.
Oh, well, it's too late for me to be a dancer in any. I mean, listen, I have some
Mm,
moves, right? I definitely
yeah.
have some moves, but I could not follow along. Like my son can sing. My son can really act. His dancing, he needs to work on some more. Let's just say
Yeah.
he can follow along, but he's not. He's not Michael Jackson. Let's just put it that way. It's an easy way to put it. Like he would not be getting hired for his dance moves.
Uh,
But but that's pretty cool that again, like you got to do all that different stuff. And even like you said, you worked in Busch Gardens, Six Flags here in New Jersey or one of the other Six Flags.
no, up in Massachusetts.
Okay. Because they're
I
all over the place
almost,
too.
I almost worked in New Jersey, but then I took the one up here because it was, I don't know, closer to family or something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
well, it was definitely not as cool because we don't call it Six Flags here in New Jersey. It's called Great Adventure, but that's
Yes.
a whole different New Jersey. We hate all of you thing. We're the only place that doesn't do that. It's Great Adventure. Like
hmm
actually, my son started calling it Six Flags, and I'm like, you hush your mouth. It's Great Adventure. It's not Six Flags.
You're
I don't care.
wrong.
Totally wrong. And listen, I don't put my foot down much in this house, but
hmm
damn it, you're calling it Great Adventure like the rest of us do. Any working in Disney? Being we're on this topic real quick because I know a lot of
No, I don't think I'm Disney material. I don't know.
more, more Six Flags Busch Gardens, not Disney.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a little too rough around the edges to be in Disney, I think.
Listen, they're rebranding themselves left and right, so maybe now your chance is to go back and they have a whole new rebrand of like
Yeah, no,
spicy princesses, saucy princesses, not saucy princesses.
yeah, no. That ship has sailed, no pun intended, right?
Well, the I can't think of her name. The women's rugby player is on Dancing with the Stars. She just did the Encanto person.
Yeah,
I'm
I
so
just
bad with
yeah.
names, but yeah. So you got that going for you. You're in. Forget the fire service. Forget CrossFit. Head to Disney. Trust me, I know things.
Yeah, okay, no.
All right. So you were a competitive dancer, and then at 22, you were like, "Let me walk into this gym." Was it a Globo gym? Was it a CrossFit gym?
No,
Was it?
it was on the cruise ship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know, you have a lot of extra time on the cruise. And so I was like, what am I gonna do with all this time? And I walked in the gym, I had no clue what I was doing. I don't even know if YouTube was a thing back then. 2004? I don't remember. 2005?
Oh, it was getting to be a thing. It was starting to be.
Yeah.
It's not what it is today, where like my kid's teaching himself guitar based off of
Right.
YouTube. So yeah.
Yeah. But I just would kind of like watch other people and then like get on the treadmill. You know, I'd do like curls and overhead press. And I just liked the way it made me feel. You know, it felt good to like get a different kind of workout, I guess it was. And then years go by and I get off the cruise and I started doing bodybuilding. I competed in figure competitions.
Which was probably like the start of figure, if I'm
Yeah,
dating things right, like right around that time, figure fitness.
I think, I don't even know what year was it, 2011, 2012, I think was when I did my first show. Um, and it was great, you know, it was competitive, so that was kind of cool, but I just still felt like, eh, it's lacking something, right? Because
Yeah.
as a dancer, I was more of like, more or less a performance athlete, right? And bodybuilding and figures more just kind of somebody's opinion about what you look like. And I don't know. And I
And
like food. Like,
it's judged very harshly, and it is
yeah.
very subjective, right? Isn't that the one it is?
Yes,
Subjective. Like you
absolutely.
can, like
Absolutely.
again, yeah. And listen, props to all the people that do it. Like we have a
Yeah.
guy on my job, young kid. My man is cut like crazy right now because he's getting ready to compete. Good for him. He
Yeah.
works really hard. Super proud of
Absolutely.
him. But you could go there that day and be, 12 out of 12 because that's the way
Yeah.
the judges felt compared to everybody else.
Right. And like it was definitely one of the hardest things I ever did. I don't knock people that do it, you know. It's just like anything. It's whatever's a good fit for you. If you like it, you do. If you don't, you don't.
And it's
Um
also a really hard lifestyle,
oh yeah.
like that the dieting, the working out, literally. I mean, you can watch it. Shameless plug for Arnold Schwarzenegger, even though I
Yeah.
happen to
Yeah.
be working at his Sports Fest next year, in case you didn't see that. But shameless plug. But when you watch his documentary and he goes through his bodybuilding phase, like I mean,
Mhm.
that life was rough.
Yeah, it's hard. And it's like the discipline. I mean, I learned a lot of discipline in dance, but like, you know, with nutrition and ugh, I mean, it's hard. It's very,
Yeah,
very hard. And God bless all those people that do
yeah,
it.
and
Because
do it
I get,
repetitively, like, and go back for more. The people that are in it for years, like we
yeah.
see in the fire service and cross and all athletes, you see people like, I did bodybuilding for a year or two when I was this age, or I did,
Mm,
but there are people that just that's their thing, and hey, good for
yeah.
you.
Yeah. Good for them. Yeah. So I did that and I actually started going to college for exercise science. I was 27, I think, my first year. I just went to a community college here in
Mhm.
Connecticut um, because I just really fell in love with fitness. I just really liked it. So I was like, oh, I'll become a personal trainer, you know? New career path, whatever.
You can get back on the cruise
So,
ship. They have personal trainers on the cruise ship, so
yeah, yeah. I think I was ready for, you know, my land legs again. But
yeah.
yeah, so I got an opportunity. I was in school. I was like prepping for a show. This was May of 2013. Um, my friend, her husband at the time, he was a Navy SEAL, and he was coming home and he wanted to open up a CrossFit gym. And so she's like, he doesn't really know anybody. And I know that you want to be a personal trainer. Like, do you want to meet with him and talk? And I was like, what's CrossFit? Yeah, sure, I'll do it. You know?
Is it a job? Does it come
Yeah,
with a paycheck? I'm in.
exactly. Like, let's go. Let's try this thing out. And so we met. We met, and I helped him open up and build a gym in Simsbury, Connecticut. I took 2 classes at another gym by the airport here, and I was like, "This is it." I have never felt worse. I have never had my ass kicked so bad. I'm like, "That's it." Like a few weeks later, I went and got my L1. So
It is the normal reaction for CrossFit or any bit of that style of fitness, like a hit style of fitness or like Orange Theory style, CrossFit style, where you go
yeah,
and you either love it or hate it on day one. Like it's either you're
yeah,
fit or it's not. I have coached people that were kind of still like iffy about it in like month two, and I'm like, I don't really know if you're iffy about this. You're not really getting it, but I feel like you should be getting out of it.
yeah,
You may need to find something else or be like, no, I really do love this suck because I felt the same way. I thought, I mean, I had been on the job for a decent amount of time when I went to my first CrossFit class, and I was running, I was doing kettlebells, I was doing hit style training, spinning, and I went to CrossFit for like the free. It was so back in the day, it was like
yeah.
onboarding classes, and the first night I left and was like, I think I'm gonna die, but I want to come back. It was like Tuesday, Thursday. I'm
Yeah.
like, I want to come back on Thursday.
Yep. Oh yeah, that was it. The gym that I train at now is the first gym I ever took a class at. So
Oh,
like
that's cool.
everything is
Everything's a
compass.
circle. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But that was it. It was like you get to try 3 classes for free, and like,
Mm-hmm.
no, it only took me like 2 classes. I was like, oh yeah, this is it. You know, I love it.
And you got to get into that back end of it of like opening a gym with someone or helping someone open their gym and starting to coach because it was something, you had already kind of planned on doing. Like, I don't think, and I've had a lot of people be like, will you train me? Like, especially online with having 555 and like, what can you
Mm,
help me with or however you want to look at that. But I don't think I would like that one-on-one personal trainer, like, hey, let's work out for an hour. Here's some curls. Here's this, here's that. As
mm-hmm.
opposed to, I love that like class dynamic where like I'm up in front of everybody, guiding different people to try to do the same thing, but not exactly the same thing,
Yeah.
figuring out what's going to work for you. It's almost like being a firefighter. Like you have to solve the problem quickly and move on.
Yeah. Right. Adapt and overcome.
Yep. And that was such a fun part of coaching CrossFit. And I do miss it a lot.
Yeah.
Like I miss the people, I miss that interaction.
Yeah, I miss coaching too. I stopped coaching pretty much like once I got on the job, and it's just hard to commit to a day with a rotating schedule,
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I was always the fill-in guy. You know what I mean? Like they would give me, like I was like, hey man, I could do Tuesdays at 4:30, but I'm always going to miss one a month. So if someone could
right.
fill in, I can fill in for them. And I worked in 2 different boxes, and the owners were so cool about my
Yeah,
schedule and just working with me on whatever I needed.
that's
They were
awesome.
also happy that someone else was able to coach and it didn't have to be
Yeah,
them, right?
sure.
Because that's another
Yeah.
part of this.
Absolutely.
But I mean, it's always something you can go back to, right? Like if you wanted
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. I was an L2 coach. I've let all my, certificates lapse, so I'd have to start over again, which is fine. Like I love the weekend. It's a super fun weekend. But I think you can even do them all online now anyway, so
Oh, that
it's
would
even
suck.
like
Missing the
even
weekend.
easier. Yeah.
It was
I
so I For the folks out there who are like, why are they talking about CrossFit? I'm like, because we run CrossFit and that's what we talk about, right?
Yeah.
And you hear a lot about the CrossFit L1 cert. Listen, that was a 2-day class that I took with some friends from my box. We all went to take it together. Excuse me. But I feel like I learned more about how to speak to adults and how to assist adults,
Mm.
not teach them how to lift or do a clean or a press. That was kind of all part of it, but to assist them in an appropriate manner because I feel like that's what they did for us in the class.
Yeah, it was a lot about, which I think is kind of their point, is you can be the best athlete and know all the movements and have this huge education, but if you can't like get through to people, it doesn't even matter like your education or how good you are as an athlete, because to be a coach, like you have to be able to connect with people, and
Yep.
they have to want to listen to you, and being able to tell them how to do something like 8 different ways, because it's people are going to learn differently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they literally teach you that way in that
Yes.
class by
Yeah.
teaching you, right? By teaching different people. Like they're
Yes.
trust me, when you take a class like that, you have every type of person in there that can come from any type of gym and their
Mhm.
world of how they feel it should be. And I'm sure not everybody picked it up in the ways that at least I know I did. But I
Mhm.
was totally feeding off what they were laying down. And I'm like, this
Yeah.
is great. And it made me a better fire instructor for sure.
Oh
Because
yeah.
again, like I took fire instructor classes, but I felt like none of them got me to relate to the guy with 30 years on the job and then
Mm.
the kid with 2 years on the job, even though I'm teaching them in the same class as
Right.
opposed to that class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like CrossFit. It just overlaps. It helps you with everything in life, no matter what it is.
Isn't it weird? Like we can say that about fitness. Like,
Yeah.
and I do feel like, and listen, you're more super CrossFit than I am these days because I don't do it anymore, anything to do with it anymore aside from doing some workouts here and there, right? But I'll go a little further and just say fitness. Like I didn't realize 20, 30 years ago that fitness could be such a helper in all these other parts of my life.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Hmm.
so when you get into that, then, so you're in there, you're coaching, you had an ex-Navy SEAL, which is always probably an interesting, experience of working with, let's say, from their
Yeah.
personal experiences and their coaching style and that type of just whatever
Hmm.
you want to call it. No, not to bash at all. I've worked out with several
Right.
SEALs. It's always an experience. Um, but that part of a thing kind of grew you into wanting to compete more, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I just naturally a competitive person. You know, I mean, I did have two older brothers too. I'm sure they have a lot to do with the way I am, but I there was somebody at the box that was like, "Hey," so I joined in May. I started CrossFit in May of 2013. I was training for a show in September of that year, and there was a competition in August, and they were like, "Hey, you should go do this competition. I really think you'd like it. I think you do well, and I think you would like the people." It was at some other box like a few towns over. Mind you, you know, I'm like, what's that? May, June, July, just about 4 months into CrossFit. And I was like, yeah, sure, sign up, RX, individual, you know, like that's me jumping headfirst into things. Yeah. And what's a squat snatch? What is this again? Remind me, you know, I was still, you know, learning things. And I ended up making like the final. And there were ring muscle ups. And I was like, I can't do this. And the girl next to me is like, I can't either. And I was like, yes. I'm like, well, we'll just swing around in the rings for a little bit and see
just
what
look cool.
happens,
Just look cool up here. As long as we look good. Get some sweat on the ground.
I had like the best time, and I was just like, if I didn't love it, you know, the first day I did it, I loved it even more after competing. Just the camaraderie and just how nice people were. It just hooked me. And then that was it. And then I signed up for the Open, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to make regionals. Cause back then it was in Canton, Mass still at the Reebok headquarters. And, you know, everybody that starts CrossFit and drinks the Kool-Aid is like, yeah, I'm going to make the games, you know. It's like, it's a lot harder than you think it is.
I can do it. You do your first open workout and you're like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, you're like 500th place. Like
when you think, I tell people this still, they're like, hey, I think I want to do CrossFit and I'm going to do the Open. And I'm like, look, if you think the dudes at your box program really hard workouts, wait until you do the Open workout, because on paper it looks like, oh hell yeah, I could do this. And like 3 minutes in, I'm like, I can't
immediate
breathe.
gut check. Yeah.
And it only got, so I don't know how I want to say this. Like, I don't know if it got harder or easier, like as the Opens went on, because my first Open, we were like snatching barbells. You know what I mean? Like type of a thing where it's like, dude, I could barely snatch anything. Like I got 135 up above my head once, and it was like the win for me, right? But then like they moved into like dumbbells, and I'm like, nah, this still sucks. Like this did not get any easier because
no, it doesn't. Like, well, with anything, if you do it, you know, it doesn't get easier. You just get better at it, right? You know.
That is so nice of you to say, but I did not get better at CrossFit. Well, I was always on the struggle bus. I may have done well, like, but I'm still on the struggle bus.
You just get more tolerant. I don't know.
No, I think it's something that I love about that style of workouts, though, right? Is that like I need to be on the struggle bus. You know what I mean? Like I need that. So I need that part of a workout. Like when I'm not, like if I work out while I'm on duty, I do not push myself as far as I would if I'm in the garage gym, or especially if I'm with other people. We're going, like there's not even no warm up needed. Press the button and let's see what happens type of a thing, right?
Yeah.
But I like that style where I can continue to be on the struggle bus. God, what's Finn? Finn is 14. So, 14 years ago, I started doing this style, let's say.
Yeah.
And didn't know that I needed it beforehand. Like I was doing it sometimes, but didn't know how important it was.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. That's awesome. So, talk all day about it.
So you're in, right? Now you're hooked. You drank the Kool-Aid. You said it, not me.
Mm-hmm.
You started competing. When did you make regionals?
So I competed regionals in 2016 with a team, Yankee CrossFit in Farmington, Connecticut. Yeah, man, I miss regionals. They were so fun. They were so fun.
So for the non-CrossFit people too, let me clarify, because I did just like, I always say other people listen to this, and I know some people did, but I found out a girl, I'm not gonna call her my ex-girlfriend, because I mean I've been with Tracy for 20 years now, but a girl that I dated way long ago just told me like 2 weeks ago that she listens to every episode, and I'm like, oh, so really people who aren't firefighters do listen to me babble about this kind of stuff. So if you're not a CrossFitter, like my friend there that I'm talking about, there's a competition every year. It's the Open, so anyone can do it basically, and they're to a point now where like You can do it. I could do it in my garage and submit. I don't need to be necessarily a part of an affiliate, I don't think. After the Open, you would qualify for regionals. It's all very different now. Regionals, we could have met at too, because I did medical at regionals when it was in Connecticut, coincidentally.
I was on the Rogue team when it was here in 2015.
Oh, well, there you go. I was on the medical team, so
Maybe
Chris Smith was running the show in those days. Man. Chris and Andrea Smith were great. I should get them on the podcast, actually. Shit.
Do it.
That down. Anyhow, see, we have these crazy connections, right? But so you go to regionals, you compete at regionals. If you make it past the competition at regionals, top 3 or whatever the numbers are in the different spots, you go to the CrossFit Games, which is like the CrossFit Olympics, let's call it. Things are very different now, but you can also go on a team. And the year you made it on teams might have been like the first year of teams, probably, right? Or so, maybe.
No, they did teams 14. It was before.
I definitely don't know. So we could Google it. Google it if you want to know.
Yeah, it might be like a couple years before that, but it was when they were doing teams in 6 people. Yeah. It was 6 people when I went for that year, 2016.
Is it not 6 people anymore?
No, it's 4. It's 2 and 2. Okay.
See, that's usually how much I know. But another cool thing that they have is teams. So you're competing in your best fitnessing on a team. So 3 guys, 3 girls, or now 2 guys, 2 girls, I guess is probably the breakdown, right? Which is fun to watch too, because it opened it up to way more athletes, right? Because instead of having 50 men, 50 women, let's say, now you had 50 men, 50 women individual, and probably like another 200 athletes on the teams. And I feel like it's a little more fun to watch teams. That's just my own personal thing.
Yeah. Well, I think like competing on a team is more fun too. Like I like the individual side of it, but every time I compete with a team, I have like the time of my life. It's so much fun, you know?
Well, it's the same as being a firefighter, right? One of the reasons we like doing it is because we're on a team. And that is the best part is all the people around you. So, I mean, I've seen all the teams compete. I've hung out with a bunch of them. Like, it's always that type of a feeling around them, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's fun.
So how many times have you gone to the big show? Let's go.
Regionals, I did 2016 and 2018 as well. I went with the same gym, but that was a 2 and 2. So it was teams of 4 then. But that same year in 2018, I qualified for the CrossFit Games as a master's individual. Because that was the first year they opened up to, the 35-year-olds. So I think they dropped the age down it must have been from 40 to 35.
I know they dropped down a couple times. Like Masters was like 50 and above, and then it went to like 45, then it went to 40. Because I remember when I got into it, I was like, yes, this is totally not my chance. Like, I'm in the same division as Ron Ortiz. So, like, let's just put it that way. Like, I was like, Ron, like, are you kidding me? Like, when they did that, I'm like, bro, this is impossible type of thing. Like, you just won last year, you old.
Yeah.
Now I'm in your division.
Yeah. It's incredible how fit people are at all ages, you know? It's inspiring, you know, because you're like, if they're swinging on the bar doing the same shit I'm doing, and I'm as young as I am, like, you can do this for the rest of your life, you know? It's amazing.
Yeah, it's the same as, like, I was a big runner, and like when you would go up in the age bracket, the time would get faster. I'm like, what the hell? Like, you went once you got into like the 25 to 30, it was like all fair. 30 to 35 was fair. 35 to 40 was fair. 40 to 45, these dudes are running faster than the 21-year-olds. I'm like, what the hell just happened? How come I didn't run faster when I turned 40?
That's incredible. That's incredible. Mindset, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's that discipline, you know, to go back to it. You know, when you're young, you don't necessarily need that discipline because you're just young and able to do things. And then when you get older, you get that discipline that you talked about.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for it, by the way. I've yet to find it. Like,
you'll find it.
50 when I retire, then I'll have that discipline to go.
Yeah.
I would like to. That is one of the things, though, because we talk about retirement a lot here in my house as I get closer to it. And I obviously have to do something. And I was like, well, maybe I'll run a marathon again, because at least I'll commit to do that training. So every day I have to do that training type of a thing to get my mind off of missing the work end of it. You know, I need
a hobby, right? Like, you need something to do.
well, this is my hobby right here, like, but it's not enough. Like, I need
Right.
an active hobby. If I'm, when
Yes.
I leave the, and I think a lot of people need this, that are in the fire service, especially, we're very active people. Our job is very active, even though it's not active all the time, but
Right. Right.
you're there for that end of it. And when you leave, I'm going to miss that activity like crazy.
Oh
So if I
yeah.
can just go out and put my head down and run, maybe I'll run a marathon.
Yeah. Do it.
I'm not do it. Thanks. Appreciate you. I'll be there cheering you on. Like, I'm not qualifying for Boston. They just lowered the times for Boston again. I'm like, are they crazy? They took 4 minutes off for everybody.
Jeez.
Yeah, the Boston Marathon, I think for me now is like a 3 hour, 10-minute marathon. I'd have to crank
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Nope. No thanks.
No,
That's
not running long distances ever.
26 miles more than what I want to run. So
It is. People will still ask me. So I ran one marathon. I was supposed to run. Actually, I was supposed to run 3, but I ran one. I was injured for another one, and then Hurricane Sandy derailed my New York City
yeah.
marathon dreams, and that turned into a whole social media debacle. But anyway, moving on from that, I'm not bitter at the New York City Roadrunners at all for what they did that year. Still ruining my chance to do it. But people are like, you ran a marathon, like what kind of advice can you give me? And I'm like, 26 miles is a long effing way.
Yeah.
Like, a half is great. I loved half marathons, but that
Yeah.
second half tacked on the back of it was not fun.
No thanks. No, thank you.
Not at all. All
Give
right,
me a
so
barbell.
we competed on the teams of 2 and 2, and then you were like, hard pause. Let me get a real adult job, or how did
Yeah.
we get into the fire service?
So I trained with firefighters, and a couple of them were like, hey, like, you should try this. We really think that you'd be good at it, and we think you'd like it. And my dad actually was a volunteer for 20 years here in the town I grew up. So I was like, all right. So I went down and I was like, hey, I want to try this out, and like, luckily I know pretty much like everybody in town. And so I volunteered for like 2 years. And then I get home from the games and I took a consortium test, and then I took the test for New Britain, and very lucky got into New Britain. So I got home from the games, I think it was the second week of August, and then I was in the academy October 1st. So it was like super quick, and I was like, bye, I'm leaving. Changing my whole career. Yeah. And so obviously I was very fortunate that I had like the fitness level that I did, because it obviously helps me. I'm also only like 5'2". So
Hey, listen, we're right eye to eye there, sister. So don't you say only. Don't you? Short firefighters are needed too. Like, we are important people in the fire service. Just remember that.
Yes, but it's like, and also being a female, not that like females can't do it, but I think there's a lot more pressure on us. We're more accepted as the years go, but
Sure.
it's like you almost you have to prove yourself, which I'm all for that. If you can't do this job, I don't care, male or female, like, don't be here. Because
you were in like a news story about that, weren't you? I just remember that. Didn't you do like was there something about that up in your state? We don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
Oh,
but I feel
yes,
like,
no, yes,
right,
I know
where
what
it
you're
was
talking
like
about.
they wanted to maybe change some standards, and you were like, no, like the standard is the standard. Yeah.
I'm doing the same job as you. Like, why should I have a different standard? Why? Because I'm a girl? Like, because my parts are different? I don't think so. So, yeah, but anyway, so I went to the academy October 1st. That was 4 months. Got online the end of January of 2019. I've been there ever since.
Still grooving.
Still grooving. I made driver a couple years ago. So now I drive engine 2. I love it. It's like the best decision I ever made,
It's like the best decision you didn't know you need to make, type of a thing, right?
Yeah. And like I say, I wish I did it earlier, but everything happens in the time that it's supposed to. So it's great. I can't ask for anything better. And the schedule also allows for me to train hard, so I get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, so you get to do all the things you want to do, right?
I'm truly blessed. Yeah.
It's so weird. I was just talking to my buddy the other day, and he was like trying to explain. He was at like a career fair. They were the only career fire department in their area there, and he was like, I was trying to explain like the schedule and how this works to people to make them want to maybe take the test, and he's like, they weren't getting it, and he's like, I don't know what I was saying wrong to be like, listen, it's really hard. You do have to work for 24 hours or 48 hours or whatever it is. There's a long time frame, but there's these benefits to it. There's some things we know now that aren't great about our schedules necessarily.
Right. Yeah.
But as we're learning them, it's better. But you also have all this other time to do things like train or have a podcast or see your kids and your spouse and things like that, you know?
Yeah. 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 It's great, you know, and just being able to be with the guys, and it's like a sleepover with your friends, you know, like
that's what Tracy says. Tracy's like, oh, you get to go to the clubhouse tomorrow. And I'm like, yes, I get to go to the clubhouse again tomorrow. But it's so weird that we can say that and laugh about it, right? Because we know it and we know that's how it is. I will never tell anyone like, no, that's not the truth. But our job is so serious too. It needs to be that clubhouse because again, and you'll talk to a firefighter from around the world, the second the call comes in, the mindset is flipped.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right? We still may have some fun in the truck on the way there or something along those lines, right? But the mindset is so flipped. And again, that's something that I love about our career is that you have folks that can just be laughing, joking, arguing, whatever, but we can go right back into work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, all day you're just ragging on each other, and then call comes in, you got to go. Now it's time to go to work, you know?
That's it, right? And that's the easiest way to explain it. Like, it's almost like that should be the, like, the recruitment poster. Like, you're having fun, the call comes in, you go to work, and that's it. Like, people laugh when I'll say something like, oh, no, we, like, non-firefighting people, and like, oh, we had a job last night. And they're like, no, like, you went to your job last night? And I'm like, no, we had a job. I'm like, we actually call fires work. And then work, I'm like, you try to explain it to someone who doesn't get that concept, right?
Yeah, right.
Like, yes, I go to work, but then I really go to work sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, there's a whole different world. And then that's you never want to see anybody lose their house or the dangers that are involved, but that is the part that we all are because we're that type A competitor who wants to do it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Don't leave that nozzle unattended because I'm stealing it.
Not if you're driving. That's why I never wanted to drive. But
well, yeah, but
it's a little bit harder unless you're third due. I don't know how you got. We're not getting into tactics and strategy here, but you know,
I work enough overtime where I can still catch fires and go inside. So, but yeah, you're right. It's like 7 minutes of chaos. Then I'm like, oh, everybody else is having fun. Like,
oh yeah, pumping fires is. I've done it. I mean, I have driven. All the apparatuses and like, I never liked it. It was not my thing. Like, that chaos. I would rather deal with the chaos of not knowing where I am, flames, stuff falling, than being outside with levers and pumps and, oh no, I want the bucket go up. I'm like, I don't know. There's electronics. It's like us getting on this podcast today. There's electronics involved. Give me a second, right? It's not how my mind works. My mind works is there's the barbell, go deadlift it.
Yeah, right.
And I still have to write down the workouts because I'm going to forget them. The harder the workout, the more detail that has to be written for me because I'm going to be like, what am I doing next?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Get out of the way. I got to look at the whiteboard.
It's a positive to having the garage gym. There's no one in my way. I just know where it is. So I'm good to go.
Perfect.
So you loved being a firefighter. And then you were like, I want to be a better American.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not American enough. So
I'm insane. And my mom knows this. And the poor thing, she has to deal with all my crazy decisions, So, I decided to join the military when I was 37 years old. I always wanted to do it, and they have an age limit. So it was like now or never type thing. And I did get an age waiver. Perfect candidate for it. I already work in like a paramilitary career, in very good shape for me.
If I must say so myself,
I'm in pretty good shape.
I'm talking about myself. I am in very good shape, Pip, in case you didn't know.
And so, I got the age waiver, and my mom I told my mom, she's like, "You're what? You're doing what?" Yeah, I want to
Isn't this
go.
enough? Like, we missed the dancer. Then you wanted to
Yeah,
go be a fireman and get dirty and do this, and
yeah.
now.
Now, Army. Yeah, why not? So I was a combat medic for the National Guard. I was attached to an engineers unit, the 250th Engineers in New London. And so I served all like my active years already. I just got out in February. So now I'm what they call inactive reserve um, for the next few years. So like if if shit goes down, they can call me back if they
Gotcha.
need me to go. Yeah.
Or you, so again, like a combat medic in the military. Again, for the folks who aren't listening, it's not the same as a paramedic or an EMT in the fire service necessarily, depending on what service you are. But are you an EMT or medic as well, or
Uh,
just
for the Army, I was EMT, but
okay?
on my civilian, the firefighter side, we're EMR.
Gotcha. So that's
So, because
emergency medical responder,
right,
which is
yes,
a whole
yeah,
different thing and different. Again, we've talked about this numerous episodes. If you've listened, every state is different. The
yeah,
military is different. Like you could
hmm
be an Army EMT, but not. You could be an Army EMT and do crazy things in the field,
yeah, yeah.
and
Well,
then
'cause
you
it's all
go,
like it's trauma related,
yeah.
right? So, I mean, they teach us like crikes and needle decompression, and they let us do a lot, if you
And then
will.
you go to a state and they're like, nah, you can't even hand out a band-aid with that certification.
Yeah,
You have to take
yeah,
this whole
exactly.
class again. And
Yeah,
it is a very interesting end of our thing.
yes, yeah.
So you made it back to the CrossFit Games this year on a team, right? But this
No,
is more.
I went individual.
Oh my God! See, now I'm like the worst I'm the worst host ever.
No, no,
So
no, it's fine. Yeah, so like my career, I felt comfortable. I kind of took, I mean, I competed at like Wadapalooza and did some competitions and stuff, but I wanted to just be like 100% focused on my career and get good at that. And then I joined the Army um, and then I was like, well, okay, now that I don't have like drill, every month and all that, let's try to do the thing again, and made it. So I went for the Masters individual. I'm 41, so it was the 40 to 44 division. Yeah.
I have to do math in my head. Sorry. That's why if you're looking, I'm like, wait, 41, okay, 40, 44. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah.
And
And now
that was what? I mean, you just did it, right? You just literally did it like a month ago.
it was the first weekend of September, last weekend of August.
Oh, it's like 2 months now, but
Yeah. So, like September 1st, I think may have been like Sunday,
good
Saturday,
times,
Sunday,
good
but
workouts, good times, good people.
it was awesome. I'm telling you, like the masters athletes, the whole vibe is just amazing, right? Because nobody that's there, well, there might be a couple, but nobody that's there is getting paid to do CrossFit. Like this is just like a hobby that we all have and that we all love to do. So we're all there because we love it and we're having fun and we all have to go back to work on Monday. You know what I mean? It's not like we're 24 and just working out all the time and that's it, right?
Yeah.
So the vibe was just incredible and everybody was just so nice. And the workouts, the Legends were the ones that hosted it, the Legends Championship, and they did an incredible job. The workouts were great. We had three. It was in Birmingham, Alabama, at like the convention center, and there was in this like big ass room downstairs. There was like three different like, if you will, like stages. You know how like Wadapalooza has different in the same room, and they were all everything like ran like perfectly smooth. And I mean, I didn't come across any hiccups whatsoever. Like it was so good. They had individuals with, I mean, how many divisions are there? There's 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. There's like 7 or 8 individual divisions. And then they also had team on top of that. So the logistics, God bless all of them for making it work because they did so good.
And it's something else too that I found when I was doing med staff stuff, and then even when I was working for Assault or for Fit Aid or whoever I was out there with. But like, one thing that we don't prop ourselves up enough for in the emergency services world is our ability to run logistics, right? We all take ICS classes and there's forms and, but we are running these big events without even knowing it. And as I
Yeah.
went to these bigger events, maybe there were some police officers and firefighters that were actually behind the scenes running the logistics for it. And
Mm-hmm.
I would come back to work and I tell people all the time, listen, man, these skills that we do at emergency scenes, you can take them into the world of athletics. You can take them into the corporate world, because you get folks that are like, there's a problem. They don't know what to do. They look at you and you're like, oh, I could solve that right now. Look, give me a duct tape. Like, give me some
Yeah.
zip ties and duct tape and I'll fix that.
Yeah.
But that's what a lot of the folks behind the scenes, they came from the world that you and I work in currently and
Mm-hmm.
are now doing that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was
And then
awesome.
you get a seamless event that you don't complain about.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like, we've all been to CrossFit people have all been to those events where it's like, come on, they change the workout, they change the time, they change your heat. And it's like, no, this is like, figure your shit out.
Yeah. Get your shit together. I don't have time for this. Do you know what I do for a living? I don't have time for this, man. We move this on. This building is burning down right now. No one's putting it out. And I'm competing. I'm not going to put it out. I'm not doing it. It's not my job today.
Yeah, exactly.
So really, as we're getting down to that minute where I told you that you're going to look down and be like, oh my God, we've already been talking for an hour, but I'm kind of afraid to ask, but I think I'm man enough here to do it. Or I'm big enough here to do it, even though I'm only 5'2" as well. But what's next? What are you doing next?
What am I doing next?
Like, you're going to learn to fly planes or go to space?
It's funny you say that.
Oh, geez. Totally unscripted, Carl.
What's next? I do want to continue to try to make the games. I have been looking at pilot classes.
Why not? Sure.
No, but listen, I have a couple friends in town here that do the paramotor. So it's like where you sit in the thing with the big motor on your back and
we got people, they fly them in the farms by me. We have them.
Yeah. Yep. So there's one of the guy's wives and I were thinking about possibly taking this class because why not? You go down to Florida for 3 weeks and they teach you all this stuff and you come back. So there's that. I also have a friend that just got his pilot license maybe a year and a half ago. And it's a couple towns down. I was like, well, maybe I could do that. I mean, I'm always thinking of stuff. And then also I want to do the tactical games.
Okay.
So
Yep. I've seen that.
I think that would be, it combines CrossFit and shooting, and those both are awesome things. So,
So why not? Right. Well, I mean, again, so the tactical games make sense. The pilot thing is, okay, I want to strap a fan on my back and have a parachute and fly around. You may as well have said I'm going to become an alligator wrestler, but I'm excited to follow you. I can't wait to see where this one goes because it's been an adventure following you on social media all these years anyway. And occasionally we'll make a comment to each other about something we did, but following you, I'm I am just not cool in life because I don't do these cool things.
Well, it's life is, you need to live life. You know what I mean? Because I'm not getting any younger. And once this day is gone, I don't get it back. So fill your days with A, happiness, and B, do some cool shit. You know what I mean? Why not?
We have to do the size up 10, and that would have been your number 10 answer right there. So you can just repeat it, or we can just say it you don't get today back. Tomorrow's not promised. So do some cool shit during the day is how we're going to end this podcast. Even though I'm not ending right now, but that was the ending. I can maybe get Seti to edit it, to flip it, to be we just ended. Thank you. Have a good night. Thanks for listening.
And scene.
Got it. Right. See, right there. Got it. And scene. It's so true, though, and I'm so excited we did get to finally have this interview and learn so many more things that I had no clue about, even though I thought I had you maybe dialed in just a quarter of amount, but not even close. Where can the folks follow you to keep up with your journeys of craziness?
I'm on Instagram a lot, so Katlac860, Katlac 860. That's mainly where I don't know. It's an easy platform. Yeah, it's an easy platform to use, and I just attach everything to my Facebook. So I don't really post on Facebook. It just comes from my Instagram,
I'm 100% there with you on social media these days.
Yeah, I've been dabbling in some TikTok, but I don't know.
I
I
can't
can't keep
figure it
up with
out.
that.
It's for the kids. TikTok's for the kids. I try. I really do try. Like my son could do a better job running my TikTok than I can because he's like the TikTok king. I feel like of his high school at this point. But you also
Yeah.
do some modeling too now that because you mentioned Instagram and I was trying to pick which photo I was going to use of you and I'm like, clearly she's doing some modeling somewhere in some way, shape, or form.
I'm not, I just take some photos with like some friends and I just think it's fun. You know, sometimes I'll do like, you know, my friend Renato, he's the Fury photo guy. He's down in Florida. I've worked with him a couple times. He's awesome. My friend Jamie Bannon up here in Connecticut, she's great. I like to do it because like someday I'm gonna be like old and ugly and like I need proof that like, hey, like I was fun like
Bro,
many years
taking
ago.
pictures, let's just clarify this really quickly. Like, and again, we're always going over an hour. Taking pictures with your friends is like, hey, bro, take this picture of me, and I toss them my phone. Like, you're like, you know, I've worked with Jamie Fury out of Florida and my friend here in her studio over time because I'm like, that's not taking pictures with your friends. That's like actually like giving props to them for
Yeah.
amazing photos, props to
Yeah.
you as I mean, I watch my son take photos for stuff that he's got going on and like the photographer says something and he immediately gets these crazy reactions or she gets these reactions out of my son. I'm like, is he a model? Because he doesn't look like that when he wakes up at 8 a.m. Like I see him with his hair and his pajamas. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, taking
I don't
pictures
know.
with your friends. Like, yeah, it's not here, bro. Here's me.
I don't identify
I don't
as
identify
a
as a
model.
model.
I like to have
Just
fun
a
and just do
firefighting, crossfitting, ex-combat medicing, maybe flying with a thing on your back. Yeah. Fucking
Yeah.
rules. This show. Who let me have my own show? Where does this stuff come from? I don't even get
Like I
it.
said, life's short.
Yeah,
Live.
life's
You
short.
know?
You know, tomorrow's not promised. Today is going to end. You said today is going to end, which I do like. Today will be over, and if
Yeah.
you didn't do it, you didn't miss it.
Yeah. Today's gonna end. You're not gonna get it back. So do cool shit and be happy. Number one, be happy.
That is the size up 10, number 10 answer, the best advice you could give to your younger self. So,
Yes.
you know, just because the rails have gone off so far, we're going backwards with the size up 10. You just answered number 10. You're the first person that have not gone in order for these in the 90 plus episodes of the show. That's the wheels have fallen off. Thanks. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So, number 9, which one is it for you? Football or football?
What? Football or football?
Yeah, football or soccer. Football or soccer.
Oh, what do I call it?
No, which one do you want to watch?
I don't know, probably football. Like American football?
Like American football? 90 plus episodes, no one's ever been like, I don't understand this question. Like the second you say it,
I was
like,
confused. No, I mean, soccer's cool. I just think that they're little bitches sometimes. That's
oh man, dropping it on the end of the show. Sorry.
No, they fake everything. Come
It's part
on.
of the game. You have to take a dive every now and again. It stops play. It's a whole part of it's called the beautiful game for a reason because people flop in it and it's awesome.
Oh God, I can't stand it. Just punch each other in the face like they do in hockey.
Listen, keep watching. You should watch some football. There's a lot of punching in the face that goes on there.
Yeah.
Rutgers women's soccer just had a brawl at the beginning of the season, like straight out fisticuffs. Anyway.
Yeah, I watched more football when I was on the cruise ship because obviously it's like way more happening like internationally. But no, I'm more like hockey football.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So wait, I'm going backwards. So it'd really be number 8, really number 3. Give me a bucket list place to visit that you want to go to.
Iceland.
Oh, see, second week in a row, Iceland. I was there last year. Yeah. Best place ever. Go. Especially for you. It's such a short flight.
Yeah. Iceland and Croatia. I really want to go to Croatia.
Croatia is on my list. We're definitely going there because I want to walk down the shame steps from Game of Thrones. That's where they filmed that part. Oh, I want to go on those steps so bad. Like, so bad.
Yeah. So, I want to go to lagoons. I want to see the Northern Lights. We've had the Northern Lights here, and I missed them both times because.
Oh, we finally got them this time. It was so cool. We didn't get them in. We have a cool picture in Iceland, but it's just green. We didn't get to physically see them. Here we had just this last run through. We had so many cool colors. Like I was just amazed at the sky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was cool.
Go to Iceland.
Yeah.
All right, this is so weird doing this backwards. Because I read them because I told you I have to read things. That's how I do
Yeah.
it. But I'm not meant for this. All right, highways or back roads? Which one are you taking?
Back roads all the way.
Nice. Say it with
Yeah,
confidence.
absolutely. Yeah, cause well, in the the useless state of Connecticut, like you said, we have a
Fucking
lot of
construction
beautiful back roads here,
and
especially this time of year. I mean, it
and
doesn't
effing
look any.
highway construction. Every highway in Connecticut is
Oh, just
consistently under construction.
stay off of 84. 84 sucks.
All those roads suck. How about a book? Everybody needs to read. Give me a book that everybody should read.
I don't read a lot, but the last book that I read in its entirety was called Grit.
Okay.
Is it Angela Duckworthy? I think is the author.
Oh,
I don't like fiction. I like
okay.
a lot more of like either like true stories or like self help books. Like the Daily Stoic, like Ryan Holiday, I think is his name. He's got a bunch of good books out.
Cool. I will check them out
Yeah.
then. And that's why you didn't react to my Game of Thrones because you don't like fiction. So that makes
Well,
sense. Like,
I've never seen Game of Thrones.
oh,
I know it's a sin, right? But I don't
oh
know.
my
I just
God, what do you do at the firehouse? Do you know how many times we've watched it in my career now? Like uncongruent. Oh, have you ever seen Entourage?
a couple episodes, not
We need to get
much.
off this podcast. Do you make your bed every day? I'm going back to the questions. Do you make your bed every day? We just
I
became not
do.
friends. You make your bed good.
I make my yes. That's like the first thing you should do when you wake up.
100%. You did it before the
Make your bed.
military or
Yeah, I did it before the military.
good?
Yeah.
All right, here's the big question. And I hit people with this early, but you're getting it late though. But cross country road trip. Who is your celebrity co-pilot? They could be living or dead or famous person co-pilot.
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Deep questions
Uh,
here.
yeah. Celebrity? Who would be fun? Shane Gillis?
Okay. Sure. No one
Joe
said that before.
Joe
I love it though
Rogan,
because
maybe?
people take this question like who would be fun, who would be interesting to have their mind, like to pick their brain. Everybody goes a
Yeah.
different direction with it. Fun is usually, like people have picked Adam Sandler and
Right.
like just fun people for sure.
Yeah.
But it's funny when people's brains which way it goes when you ask that
Yeah.
question.
Well, I
Okay.
want somebody that like I could have good conversation with, and that's gonna just I don't know have fun. Like maybe you get into a little trouble. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
well, there's always that. And Shane Gillis could be the person then, so you're
Yeah.
not far off
Yeah.
with that. And I don't know if you're going to be able to answer this after what we've learned about you, but how about a movie everyone needs to see? Have you seen any movies in life? Do you know movies exist? Like,
Yes, come on. Just because I don't have a computer, you think I what movie? There's so many good ones. Goonies. If you haven't seen the Goonies, there's something wrong with you.
100%. They're making a
Goonies.
reboot. Well, they're making not
I
a reboot, but another one, like a
and they're going to
second
use
one.
the same cast, I heard.
Yes, I'm quite excited. My boys are quite excited. Like Goonies is, yeah, you can
They,
stop at Goonies. You win. Now we're friends, sort of.
yeah, that's like one of the best movies ever.
Yeah, by far.
Mm-hmm.
All right, two more questions. How about a night out or a night in?
Oh, that's tough. I love staying in.
It's
But if
okay.
there's like, yeah, if there's something fun to do, I'll go out. Like I love live music and dancing. So
Clearly, I mean, you were a dancer,
yeah.
so you
I
have
will
the
dance.
moves like Jagger, so you may as well go with that. Like
I'll dance all night. But there's nothing wrong with like some Netflix on the couch with a glass of wine, you know?
nothing at all to
Yeah.
anyone that's out there. Like nothing at all. Especially too, like after a 24 and then like your
Oh.
day, because people don't really think about that. Like if you have a horrible 24,
Mm.
I don't have the ability to come home and just go to sleep. Some people have that ability in their life because maybe they
Yeah.
don't have other things going on all the time or anything like
right.
that. But that after the 24 is more like a 36 of just continued going. So that glass of wine and Netflix is the way to go for me.
Oh yeah. Well, as soon as I leave work, I go right to the gym. Like no matter what kind of night I had. And like if I didn't sleep, I'm just going to like take the intensity down, not lift heavy cuz I don't want to get hurt, but and I come home, I'm going to crash. Like,
Oh yeah.
you know, I'm going to eat my food and then I'm going to like sit my ass on the couch for a little bit, you know?
So I worked EMS, and I'm keeping you over your hour time frame here,
That's
but I
fine.
worked EMS before I did this fire thing, and on September I worked night shift EMS, so I worked September 10th, 2001, the night shift into September 11th. I
Mm,
would go right to the gym and work out, headphones on, pay no attention to no one, get in the car, blast more music, come home and pass out.
yeah.
So got off at 7 a.m., did my thing, got home at 8, I don't know, whatever, 8:40, whatever time it was, I couldn't tell you. My head hit the pillow, and I swear, like 6 minutes later, my roommate's like, "Get the fuck up! This is crazy. Come look at the
Uh,
TV." And I was right back into work until the next day or whatever it was when they
yeah.
released us, type thing. And I always said, like, okay, that was the end of doing that. I'm like, no more going to the gym unless I have no choice but to. Like, I'm done
Yeah.
with this because I was
Mm.
so I slept for like the next day after that type of a thing.
Oh, you must have been
Um,
absolutely exhausted.
But anyway, okay, one last question. Beach or
Hmm.
mountains?
Oh man, you're killing me with how
Connecticut
about
has it both too.
yeah, how about we go for a hike and then go to the beach?
Okay. I mean, hey, listen, it's your world. There's no
Yeah.
wrong answers to the size
I
of 10.
might I might favor mountains a little bit more. Yeah, like a cabin in the woods. Oh, there's just nothing better than that, you know? And you can't go to the beach when it's cold out. Like, what do? You just sit there and be
You
cold?
can. Yeah, the beach is cool when it's cold out. Like, looking at the ocean when it's cold. I love
Yeah.
Jersey Shore in the winter. Like, nobody's down there. It's kind of
Yeah.
gloomy. Like, it makes you feel okay. Like,
I
it's
don't
a good
know.
time.
I'll go hike.
We can do that though. We can hike in the morning and beach in the afternoon, and then
Yeah.
off to dancing all night. So, like, there's your
Yeah,
plan.
see?
Like, you have a whole day in just a size up 10. So,
Yeah.
Kat, I cannot thank you enough for this little bit of an hour we spent together. I'm so happy we finally made it happen, and you got the technology end of it down, even though it was my fault in the beginning.
Yeah, it's all right. Thank you very much. My pleasure.
No worries. As always, you guys, man, stay safe out there. Keep listening. Tune into all the episodes. Jeremy's got a whole bunch of new content coming out on the National Fire Radio podcast. I know Rob was just recording right before me because that was a little bit of our delay in getting our podcast going with Frontline Mindset. Mickey's killing it with Top Floor Tactics, man. I learn. So if I know he's not listening to this. Mickey Farrell doesn't listen to my podcast, but like he is putting out such good stuff. Just follow Top Floor Tactics on social media. You don't even have to listen to him babble the whole time. Look at his clips that he's throwing out, and that minute and a half or so of him talking, that gets me fired up. Like, and I get to talk to the dude on the phone. He gets me fired up when I do that. But when I listen to his clips and his little tips and his throwback, like FDNY videos from like the 70s when, Bronx was burning and all that kind of stuff, he just picks this cool stuff and he puts dope music on it too. So that's my end. That's my plug for everyone. I will see you guys next week. This is Pip for the Size Up by National Fire Radio, where what you do off the job matters.